Welcome back to another video. It's everybody's favorite video. Monday project update. Let's see how poor we're getting in the crypto community video. Yep, it's been a wild ride in the last 7 days since we last did our video. And as you can see by the trusty chart behind me, Bitcoin is going in the wrong direction. And sometimes all these other alts don't follow Bitcoin, but this time they're following it to a T. Like you can put 3 or 4 different charts of different tokens over each other, superimposed, and they're following the same thing. Hey, I would comment on all this, but I get in trouble when I speak politics, but let's just hope they know what they're doing. That's about the best I can say. And the good news of the week is Call of Duty, the new Verdansk map has dropped. I call it basically the whole new Call of Duty Warzone game because it is a complete strip of the old version that's stripped out. And whether or not you want to call it the original Verdansk or either way, it's basically, it's almost like it has a whole new engine behind it. And it seems to be pretty legit so far. I still play more of the multiplayer, but some new positive news and something. So if anybody didn't see it, last night I dropped a video, a little bit different video, but just some things I noticed in the charts, and I'll have a link to it for in this video of just 5 tokens that I saw just looking through some charts. I wanted to see if I can find some good buys. I got a little bit extra money that's coming into me, and I'm like, with this horrible price drop that we've had, we're gonna go over all that in a minute. But I wanted to see, is there something that I could throw some money into that might be a little more than just the normal 2 or 3x potential? And sure enough, there were some real gems out there. We're talking about some 5, 10, 15, and possibly 20x tokens that I shared in that video. So make sure you go check that out. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hold our nose and dive into the deep end of this. And this Bitcoin price is messy, ugly messy. Well, let's get to it. So I know I say this every time, but I really am going to try to keep this video under an hour this time. I know I say that we have so many projects to go over. I've deleted a couple of projects out of here, and just because I'm not doing them anymore, and it still went over an hour last time. I'm determined to get this video done in under an hour. I do put chapters in there, so don't worry, you're not stuck in front of the camera for over an hour waiting to hear about your favorite project. I'll do chapters so you can kind of cut through this if you want. But first thing we're gonna do is look at some of these charts. And this chart action is, we last did our video on April 1st. So Bitcoin's about 83,000, came up to about 86,000. And then last night, as I was making that other video, this price just dropped and kept dropping and kept dropping. And it basically dropped all the way to 74,000. It's now back up to 79,000, but whether or not you want to call this the new tariffs, something else was going on, I don't know. But what I was saying earlier is when you sit here and you look at like Solana, Solana is going to have basically the same similar price action, came down. You got Ethereum. Guess what? Ethereum did almost the same thing. Crashed down last night, came up. And we discussed some of these other projects. You're looking at AVAX right here. AVAX did the same thing, just came along. It is just crazy how when you go back, here's WIF, and WIF did the same thing, came along and dropped. It's down to 31 cents. And WIF's one of the tokens, just to tell y'all, that I discussed last night. I know some people are giving up on memes. I can understand that. But this token was like, what, $4 or $4 something at one point, and it's down to 33 cents. So there's some good buys out there. Even the ones I didn't cover. I just covered some of the ones I knew about, but there's some good buys out there. All right, so let's just go ahead and get in our projects, save some time. And not much has changed really too much on top. Even though they've all had some price reductions with this crash, overall the market's down. These projects took a dive also. So we're expecting to see that in the price. Now, over the last 24 hours, maybe a little bit less than 24 hours, we've seen some nice price recoveries to a point, because we did hit that really low, late last night, early this morning. 74,000 Bitcoin. Now it's up to what, 79 or something like that. So you hope to see that in your pricing. And one thing I want to continuously remind people of, because they seem to want to attack me or get upset over it, is that I do own all the tokens, all these projects. I'm in basically all these projects, other than, I know I say the same thing every Monday, but you never know who's new here. But basically every project you see here, other than Helium and Grass, I have never sold any of these tokens. So all these other ones that we have, I've never sold them. Helium, of course, I've been selling nonstop. I've been in that one for 3 years now. And Grass, I sold a little bit of the airdrop. But other than that, these tokens you see here, I'm holding on to right now. But just so you know, whenever life dictates, I will sell these tokens. So it's no secret that y'all can probably guess who's going to be number one again. I think probably since we got in this project in October, November, has been number one, other than about 3 or 4 weeks, where the price went down and GeoNet took over for a little while. Then now they're back in first place again. So starting us off is going to be Entropy, or as Grumpy calls it, Entropy. And looking at this price action, they've had a little bit of a downside drop, but we're still making a decent $8 a day right now, mining with our ESP32 devices. I don't want to go into the whole rehashing thing. Y'all can catch the previous videos of that. I have a video strictly on the new mining, on how they're going to do it with NFTs and with a new miner. I'm planning on buying one of the new miners. I minted 6 NFTs when they went to this new system, so I'm holding on to them for my ESP32 miners, and I'm planning on buying one of their new miners so that I can show that off to y'all and discuss it and unboxing if there's a box, and if there's a setup. But I am planning on getting one of those miners to send off to show off to y'all. Maybe I'll do a giveaway at some point, depending on how everything looks. Maybe a giveaway of one of the miners. I'm not promising anything, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So right now, Entropy is down a little bit in their pricing, but so is everything else. So I'm not really sweating that right now. Y'all know I'm fair. Y'all know that I will critique where I critique, and when I'm positive. I can be both positive and critique a project at the same time. Not everything's an absolute. Entropy is making $8 a day. I do question how the price was one thing when there was only $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 of liquidity in it. Now it's reported through the deck screener and stuff that there's 300,000 liquidity, and the price is about the same. You would think with that much liquidity being injected into it, that price should go up. Hey, if this thing eats another zero with the amount of tokens I have, that whole disclaimer about me not selling, it's going to be very, very hard. We know Entropy has that second law. People continue to get burned on it and continue to try to make excuses on it. You understand, when you join this project Entropy, there's a second law. They don't want you selling yet. They're trying to set this project up for bigger, better things. Some people don't agree with that. I have my mixed feelings on it, but hey, I joined this project knowing that I would not be able to sell right away. So that's one thing you have to understand. I will say also, there are people who are still joining by digging holes. I thought that was going to be like a lot tougher to get into now that you have miners, but technically I guess the miners aren't released yet. So I just saw today or yesterday, there was an announcement that 3 more people have been added to it by digging holes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want in this project, you're going to have to dig a hole. I'm not talking about taking a little kitty shovel and digging a little, literally 2 or 3 inch hole with 2 or 3 inches across with a sticky note in it, like somebody did and did not get accepted. You have another person who dug a hole where his whole body standing up could fit in the hole. He got accepted. Now, I'm not saying you have to go to that extreme, but you have to make it kind of a worthwhile look to it. If you can decorate it with some stuff, there are people who have decorated holes and they get in. But I know that a lot of people are waiting, because I see those people chatting about it in Discords and on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that they're waiting for these new miners to come in. And basically the hole digging thing, you don't have to worry about it no more. If you don't want to go dig a hole, or if you live in a city where there's no dirt, or the dirt's frozen right now still because you live up North Alaska or something like that, you can buy an NFT, you can buy the miner, boom, and you're online. And then if you sell too much and the Jeter deleted gets you, because if you sell too much, you're getting kicked out the project. Now with this new system, all you got to do is buy a miner and an NFT again, and you get to go off again. You're not permanently deleted out like in the past. If you want more information on that, go to justentropy.lol and you'll be able to see more information on that. Moving on. Our next project is going to be GeoNet. Y'all know I say the same thing. I feel like I'm repeating myself every Monday and just replay it. You know, I don't know if they would even know the difference. GeoNet's prices come down along with everything else. And you had about a 21.5 cents. You're still making about $5. My Excel sheet rounds up a little bit, but it's like $4.75, $4.80 per day, mining 24 geode per day if you're getting the maximum results. One thing I'm starting to hear some people chatter about is just kind of a heads up that I think it's in 2 or 3 months, maybe 2.5 months, 3 months. You do have a halving coming up with GeoNet. It's going to hurt. And despite what some people want to argue with me, facts are the facts that not every halving automatically improves pricing. I know that's going to be some people argue with that, but the facts are the facts. Helium had a halving the other day, and not the other day, a while back, and you didn't see a price increase in that. So don't automatically assume there's a halving. I wish they would kind of hold off until projects get a little more established with these halvings, because you're going to go right now from $5 a day to $2.50 a day, unless the price has some significant increase. So we'll have to see what happens when that gets a little bit closer. We'll have more videos on that and discuss that when it gets closer. One very important announcement. Y'all know I did a video a while back about getting scammed. I think I led off last Monday's video with about being scammed and being careful, stuff like that. Here's an announcement from GeoNet that talks about an email supposedly going around about getting exclusive early user reward and different things like that for GeoNet claims, stuff like that. Do not fall for this. This is 100% a scam. And y'all know by now, y'all should know, especially in this world, when it's too good to be true, it's probably true. But you can check that out in their announcements page. And thanks to them for letting us know about that. There was an AMA recording that's been made available. And there is a discount for dual band miners with a 30-day RRR over 98%. So, they're pushing these hard. We've talked about these in some previous announcements. They are pushing these triple band mini PCIe cards very hard to try to get you online. And I know what's going to happen is when the dual bands get phased out, you're going to have people who come on here and say, why is my miner not working? Why did I quit getting rewards? This is a scam. This is a Ponzi. This is all this other stupid stuff. When if they would just check the announcements every now. I can't stay, I know people don't like to be in Discord. I feel like I say the same stuff in every video, but I do because I get questions on it and people make comments that I can tell they're not following this stuff that I'm saying. But, crypto, Discord is just a necessary evil. I understand not everybody likes Discord, but when you're in these projects, a simple update could prevent you from getting your rewards. When you have to do an update, when you have to fix something, when you have to submit something either by email or by dashboard or something like that, you have to be in the Discord following it. I'm seeing these people pop in. I see people popping in Wingbits. Hey, I haven't been on the Discord in 6 months, but some reason my devices went offline. Come on, man. Especially a testnet project. But I digress. I'm trying to keep this video short. So that is one of the updates from GeoNet. Another update is Sweden or Japan. You have some super hexes coming. We know that is a great way of making some serious bank in GeoNet by doing some staking those hexes, and somebody activates them. You're getting some very good rewards just for being part of the staking part of that. Or if you can put your miner up, you're getting in those areas, you're getting double the rewards. So that is something you might want to keep an eye out on to see where that might pop up at. So that's GeoNet. Again, people are buying devices, put them online. Make sure you check your location on the maps, because when you try to put a GeoNet station in a hex that already has a device, you're going to get crippled on rewards. So if you are looking for a GeoNet device, Hifix.ai, I believe, does ship worldwide. You can use my code at Hifix at GrumpyDad56 to get 10% off a GeoNet station or the Wingbits GeoNet combination device, which is the one I suggest, because you get both of them and you get rewards in both projects. They both can be great projects. Of course, the usual, none of this is financial advice, but this is probably my top 3 bullish projects right now. Wingbits, GeoNet, and ENTROPY. So two of those projects you can get with Hifix, and who knows, Hifix might sell some of the Ashlar miners from ENTROPY. We never know. Don't know who's gonna be distributing those yet. But again, check out my code right here if you want to save 10% off. Now, those devices, GeoNet devices, standalone devices, are close to $600 plus. So hey, you're saving $60 plus by using my code, and you're getting into a good project. All right, moving on to our next one. Next project is going to be Chirp, and Chirp has had a little bit of a price reduction, not as bad as some of the other ones. A little bit of a price drop. We're still making about $4 a day with our Chirp Blackbird miner. I'm still running that KAGE app on my phone, Android phone, non-stop. And even like right now, I have it sitting outside of my front porch, and it just runs constantly. And they want it running constantly because they give you now these challenges that you can do and get bonuses for it. And some of them are, doing a single scan for 8 hours, or single scan straight for 6 hours, or total scanning for the day, 10 hours. And you're getting 30, 40,000 points, data credits, whatever you want to call it. And we're just running it. They still have not did any kind of rewards yet for the Chirp KAGE. And I keep trying to warn everybody. I'm trying to warn y'all. There's not going to be a great huge load of Chirp tokens rewards with the KAGE app. They have told us this over and over. They have announced that, don't quote me on it, but somewhere whoever number one is in the KAGE app will get like $275 worth of tokens, and then it'll be decreased from there. So you have to run it a good bit, because I think it's the top 5,000. I guess all I gotta do is look in the Medium article. The Medium article says 5,000 winners. So you have to be ranked at least 5,000 or higher. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care what you got going on in life. Now, this is not the nicest way of saying it, but I'm gonna say it. If you just run this thing in your house and you live in a neighborhood or with houses around, I guarantee you will get above rank 5,000. If you consistently hit this thing, or you do what I do. I have this on the spare phone. It doesn't have cell phone service on it. So a buddy gave me an Android because, I'm an iPhone owner, and I don't care for fake iPhones, is what we call them at work. Androids don't appeal to me. Even using this one for free that a buddy gave me doesn't appeal to me. Either way, I'll tether it to Wi-Fi. It just sits outside my house when I'm at home. And when I'm riding around going to work, it sits on the dashboard. You'd be surprised how many Bluetooths you get driving around, because every vehicle's got multiple Bluetooths in it. Almost every new vehicle also has a SSID broadcast. You're getting stuff just from there. Riding around and grabbing new cell phone sites, cell towers, or apparently when those even switch IPs or something like that, you're getting those again, because I'll drive to work and don't get hardly any new Wi-Fi cellular towers. And then one day I'll go to work and I got 23 new cell phone towers. So if you put a little effort into this, just having the thing scanning while you're riding around, I guarantee you'll get higher than rank 5,000. So a little bit of effort, a little bit of effort. I mean, it's a free app, free app. So if any of y'all want to get involved in Chirp in the KAGE app, the free KAGE app that's on Android, here is a code for you to use right here. It will give you bonuses. Now, I do think they might have changed the codes because now it asks me if I want to create a code again. If anybody's trying to get into Chirp KAGE and this code gives you error, please let me know. Drop me a comment, drop me a Discord comment, drop me a comment in you know, this video or something like that. Just let me know if that code doesn't work anymore. Nobody has told me anything, and I know some people are using it, but I also haven't seen any new referrals in about the last week, which is odd for me. I was still getting 1 or 2 a day at one point. So if join the project, try it out. If you have an Android phone, just do me a favor. Join the project just to see if my code works and let me know so I can work on it if it doesn't. But I have high expectations for Chirp. I wish I was seeing a little more progress on the network side of this. They are supposed to be a network IoT type project with their own miners, those Blackbird miners. I was hoping that we would see them get away from this whole NFT sale for a Blackbird miner type thing, because it's just inviting, you know, scalping and stuff like that, but they haven't changed anything. So we'll see what happens with it. But again, this is a completely free app for you to try out on a Android phone only. Try it out, get 25,000 free data chips, and come try to make up higher than rank 5,000 and get some rewards for that. So moving on, Junkcoin ESP32 project. Go to website junkcoin.lol. We're still making a consistent about 214,000 Junkcoin a day. They did have a small price drop, but all these, that's why I'm not even really showing y'all prices, because with that huge drop we had last night with crypto, it's not fair to blame each project for this like normally we would. You know, when different projects have different price action, we'll cover that. But when they're all kind of doing the same amount with about the same percentage, there's no reason to go over that. But Junkcoin had a decrease also, but even with the amount of tokens you're making right now, you're making about 96 cents, 97 cents a day, depending on you know, how many exact tokens they reward. You can do some type of weekly staking, and the more you stake or the more you put into this bonus pool, you get a bonus rewards, but then they burn what you put in there. So, you know, unless you're a top 2 or 3 people, it doesn't really pay off to do it, but unless you want to help burn. But it's a cool project, cool guys involved in it. Check out their Discord if you want to see more about it. They are going to an NFT type system also soon, but wait, I think you have to buy an NFT to get in. But you can check out their website, check out their Twitter, check out their Discord for more. But yeah, we're making about $1 a day right now, which again is a top 4 project in all my projects I'm in right now. All right, so we're gonna keep moving on. Next will be WeatherXM. WeatherXM had a price decrease also. The one thing I will say about WeatherXM is it seems their price decreases a little bit more than what the average of everybody else's is. They were in a price decrease or price drop before the drop yesterday. So they are down about 25% since our last video. So that hurts. Our last video, they were at 24, a little more than 24 cents. They're down to like 18 cents right now. When I updated my spreadsheet earlier before the video, it was at 19 cents. And I'm looking right now as I'm recording the video, it's down to 18 cents. So we're still making about 41 cents per day. But you see how much of a drop there is between the number 4 and the number 5 token. Junkcoin for ESP32 project is holding its own. WeatherXM, where you need hardware, that is 41 cents. But listen, I know people are still very bullish on this project. And I had a guy tell me just 2 days ago that he's buying another WeatherXM station because that's how bullish he is in this project long term. So, hey, that's all for him. One big announcement that if you're in this project that you need to go vote on, I covered this a little bit in my live, I believe, because I remember talking about this, but it just came out 3 or 4 days ago. So I had to discuss this in my live, but there's what they call a whip going on right now. WeatherXM improvement proposal, WIP 001, penalty adjustment. And it wants to seek to adjust the GPS location update penalty from daily or bi-daily to a more flexible 3-day period, reducing unnecessary penalties, increasing flexibility for station flexibility. You know, I see there's like 25 people that like it. I don't, maybe I'm not following this enough. So looking back at this whip, I can see that we did discuss this last Friday because it was first announced. I'm sorry, last Monday because it was announced right before that video. And now they tell you how to vote. So, you know, you can click on here and go to how to vote and go vote. And without even me voting, this started on the 4th, which was 3 days ago. It ends for another 4 days in another 4 days, but you can clearly see, I don't want to sway nobody's vote. You can clearly see who's winning. And of course, just like every other project's hit vote, in the discussion, you have some very heated discussion with people making comments about how slanted the votes are, and people who have huge wallets, early investors have, you know, they can slant the votes a certain way. And listen, this is not just WeatherXM. This is Helium. This is a lot of other projects that weigh how many tokens you have with how many votes you got. I have very mixed feelings about that. I've always had very mixed feelings about that because yes, the people who have a lot more tokens have more to win or lose, but I still think it should be capped at some point, because how decentralized is it if, like Helium's case, 2 or 3 people, or like Lunar Classic's case, where, you know, certain validators in Lunar Classic, for example, who hold a lot of tokens can basically, you know, make up the whole vote. 2 companies. It's not really decentralized. Hey, it is what it is. Basically, all this proposal is that right now, if you miss a GPS heartbeat or something like that, just 1 or 2, you get penalized for it, and that can happen all in one day. They want a couple more days that in case there is an issue, they can go and reboot the device, or if there's something covering it or something, they can get fixed. But basically, you're not hurt on the GPS heartbeat. I mean, I don't see an issue with it. I don't see why it was necessary, but I kind of read more about it, and I can understand where they're coming from. I don't know how many people are really gonna be moving around an XM device for gaming, so I ain't that worried about it. I would go vote. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but it kind of seems like what's done is done. 114,000 people have, or votes, or 114,000 votes for it. So you would have to sync your wallet so it knows how many tokens you have, and then you can go and vote. But you can go to the Discord where we just were in announcements, and you'll find a link on how to go vote for this. So that's WeatherXM. So moving on to the next one, number 6 will be NATIX. NATIX did our drop for the month of March, and while the driving I got 16,400 NATIX for the month of March. So at today's price, that's about right about $10. So when you equal that out over the days, again, some days I probably didn't drive, some days I drove a lot longer than normal. But it ended up being about 31 cents a day. It's a free app. You can connect to it, and there's no new announcements. So you're just driving around with your free app on your phone, and collecting data points, and it uploads it, and they got different challenges for doing so much mileage per day or different things like that. So that's NATIX. Moving on is going to be Helium. And if you notice, Helium has had a huge jump from where it's been the last forever videos. It's always seems to be one of the last 2 forever videos. And it's not because of the big, any kind of price jump. It's just that the projects underneath it are getting that bad. But with Helium, I actually picked up if y'all saw in my previous videos, I picked up I needed another Raspberry Pi for Wingbits, and I didn't want to spend full price on a Raspberry Pi, but I definitely wanted a Raspberry Pi because on certain Wingbit stations, you do get more messages with a Pi versus a La Potato. So if I think it's going to be a very good place, I want a Pi. I didn't want to spend a full price for Pi 4. definitely not getting the Pi 5. There's been no improvements in the forums. I don't see that much improvement, if that's the word to use, gain in messages. So I actually looked on eBay and I found a Helium device, Sense Cap, which, you know, that was my favorite Helium device. And the guy's like, I can't get it to operate. And he wanted like 40, 50 bucks for it. And I told him I'll make a deal with him. I'll buy it for like 30. And if I can get the Helium side working, will he transfer it to me, and I'll give him 12 H&T for it. And at the time, H&T was about $4 a piece. And he's like, sure, why not? And sure enough, I got the Helium device working. So, really cost me like $30 because the Helium I mined. But anyway, to make a long story short, instead of spending $75 or $100 like I lecture all about, I ended up getting one for 30 bucks, Helium device. Changed out the SD card in it, and it's up and running. So, you know, I'm up to 19 devices right now. When you average it out and, you know, average what I'm making a day, I'm making a little over 2 Helium tokens a day. And listen, I just, if y'all, Helium was one of my tokens that was on my video yesterday. Helium is still a viable working network, especially on the cellular side, but even on the IoT side. There's no reason to think it's going to stay this low whenever the bull run takes place. If Helium don't go up, there's a lot of other alt coins that I don't think are going to go up either. So I still have faith Helium's going up. Is it going to go back to all-time highs at $50, $55 or something? I can only wish and only hope that it happens. I don't see it. $25 will be ecstatic because right now I'm making 2 tokens a day. In the past, when I had IoT, I was changing that for Solana, and I built up my Solana. Now I'm keeping that Helium just because at two a day, I just want to hold on to it for right now. I want to accumulate some of that back, especially the 12 that I got back from this guy. But I'm going to make that back in 6 days with all my miners, so I'm not that worried about it. Because in fact, I've already made it back plus some, because this happened like 2-3 weeks ago. So, you know, I'm just going to accumulate that H&T, saving it up, and hope that it gets back to $25 or $30. Hey, at one time it was at $10 again, a month or two ago. So, hey, I'll take it if it goes back to $25, $30. Hey, if it gets to $30, I'm technically making like $60 a day right now. That's the positive you have to look at it. They just run. Knock on wood, I haven't had any go down in some time, and they just run. I got some in Baton Rouge, to New Orleans, to the North Shore, all over the place. And a lot of them now running Bit Harvest for dual mining. And we're going to talk about Bit Harvest a little bit later, but that's Helium. Of course, there's no new updates because Helium is just Helium. So moving on is going to be ERWIN, cat in the box type thing, whatever like that. And as long as I can keep my charger charged, my ESP32 charged, which that's what you got to do on the Discord, through the Discord page, you know, you get rewarded. Only 2 boxes were opened since our last video. And if you look up there, I didn't even update it because last Monday, only 2 boxes. So 2 boxes for might have been 50 tokens. By the time you divide that by 7 days, it's about 27 cents a day. So, hey, if people would just hold on to these tokens, the cat wouldn't be burned in the box and you'd actually get some tokens. And I don't know if people just don't understand this. I find that rewards have gotten a little better because there's a lot of people, or a good amount of people, that have dropped out or quit mining this or whatever. I don't know what they're doing with their device, but they're not on. I've accidentally pulled up a page on ERWIN somewhere giving me those kind of stats, and I cannot find where those stats are. So if you're in ERWIN and you know where the stats page is that tells you, you know, how many total miners they are and how many are totally online right now and what kind of average rewards and stuff, if you know what that is, please let me know. But that's ERWIN ESP32, another ESP32 project. So it's not that bad because you're spending like $6 or $8 for the ESP32 device. So check out ERWIN and their website, or go check them out on Discord. Moving on. our next project is going to be Soarchain. And let me tell you, there's some interesting things going on with Soarchain, and something's going to have to change, and they are changing. And me being the petty person I am sometimes, I love it because there's certain people now who are giving me hard times in here. When I was suggesting changes, they were giving me hard times. They're now eating crow or crow gumbo from South Louisiana. They have announced a rewards change that is going into effect as we speak, because it wasn't in effect this morning. But I got my normal 1 token, 10, not even 10 tokens per hour. I finally even went down a little bit because I made 7 tokens today, and I drove almost an hour back and forth to work. Prices come down a little bit. I'm making an average of about 14 cents per day, but there is a big announcements change, token reward type change. So what's new? The new daily reward system for Soarchain Mini is now officially live, built to better support everyday users, especially those who drive regularly as part of their daily routine. And this is what I brought up. This is what I was suggesting, and I was getting roasted in the general chat for this, is the current way it was set up. Hey, if you don't want to give us rewards for parking, I don't blame you. You're not getting any kind of data anyway from people being parked. Y'all set it up that way. Y'all had no problem with it at first, whatever. So then I brought up that, hey, if you're going to drastically reduce it, y'all know you've heard me say this 1,000 times. And I got roasted for saying this and greedy and called all kinds of scammers and all kinds of stuff like that. But I said, the only thing, kind of like NATIX also, but the only thing that this is benefiting at that time was Uber and Lyft drivers. And of course, the people who were defending those changes back then, who said I was a scammer and a goof, and stupid and all that, were these guys with fleets that drove all the time. Well, yeah, of course they're going to like it because they're getting more rewards now with the system, the way it was set up, changed to, and the people who were parked didn't get anything. So the people who were like me, who only drove 2 and 3 hours back and forth to work, and that's it, they were getting hosed. It wasn't even worth syncing this anymore. Now you got this new system, and you got a reward structure that has been improved for all users for the first 500 challenges, 2 hours of driving completed each day. Now, the way I read it, you don't have to be driving 2 hours exactly. You might drive 30 minutes here to work and then 20 minutes during lunchtime and 30 minutes home after, or to the grocery store and that kind of stuff. But for the first 2 hours of challenges, you're going to get increasingly linear tokens, rewards. The more you drive within the range, the more you earn. Roughly 2 hours of driving earns double the normal rewards of 1 hour. So we were making 10 tokens an hour. Originally, you should be making close to 20 tokens an hour. So using my same scale that I have up here, you're going to see this now change to, because I was using it basically as almost 1 hour. You were 2 hours, what do you want to call it? You will now see this pretty much double to 28 cents, which knocks it up a little bit more than if you get the price action going again. But either way, this is going to be a huge improvement, I believe, to what you see now. This is the Soarchain thing, and as you can see, getting 20 tokens an hour now you're going to be getting 14 cents. So again, that's double than what you were getting before. After 500 daily challenges, you will start seeing a decrease in steps. Challenges 501 to 1,000 reduced, and so on. This structure should average daily drivers ensures average daily drivers rewarded more generously while still giving value to the extended contributors. Our team will actively monitoring how this will change the distribution of rewards. If you try the new system, feel free. The best part of this is This should benefit everybody. This should benefit the project. But people, and I brought this up before, people are more worried about their own greed and their own fortune versus what's better overall for the project. Because with this, 99% of the people who are in this project are going to see an increase. They're going to be happier, and they're going to be more willing to participate. And I get these arguments with these people that you know, the whole like you should be doing this for the good of the project. Look, if we're honest with ourselves, that's horse. You know what? Yes, there are some people who really, really enjoy projects. And I'm sure they got some people who don't care the fact that they're getting not paid on certain projects. To me, there's a balance. I really, really like Wingbits. But if Wingbits goes and all of a sudden quits rewarding me, I don't like them enough that I'm going to keep going and do their project for free. Not that I would ever expect that to happen. And this project's the same thing. You know, you have people right now who are going to put the little poo-poo thing right here about this. And you have to wonder why would you downvote this? Is it because you were one of these long-term drivers that you were getting the benefits when 99% of everybody else wasn't? The overall good of the project to keep this going. Same thing like with Silencio. Same thing with NATIX. People can say like, oh, we got these rewards because this is, you know, if you don't like the project, you don't like it's rewarding, then leave. Well, people are leaving. And guess what? You're not enough to hold this project down or to continue to make this project successful. If you run majority of the people off and you only have 10 or 15% of the people left, let's be honest, you're not going to be successful. It's not going to be a successful project. You're not getting enough data in, and you're going to have problems. And that's just the truth of it. Some people are going to argue with that. Some people ain't going to believe that, but it's the truth. So we'll see what this does for Soarchain. But yes, in the general, you do have people crying about it, and people bringing up the sorry people who put the little poo-poo emoji down here and that kind of stuff like that. But you know, it's sad that people have to be worried about their own greed more than what's best for the project and getting everybody rewarded, everybody happy, and attracting more people eventually, not running people off. But hey, what's new? This is crypto. What's new? So we'll see what happens with the next, in the next video, difference in Soarchain. Grass, there's no difference in grass at all. We're in Epoch 6. We got 2 or 3 epochs left. So you're looking at maybe a drop in June or July. That's kind of my 2 cents on it right now. Every epoch is about a month and a half. So if you got 2 to 3 months left, that's putting you into June, July, August. So we'll see. I know people, everybody gets their little cult-like feelings in these projects. Just like I said, some people like them. I have serious issues with the fact that a project's going to pay out once a year. And why not? Why is there more people that don't call it out? I don't know. Nobody wants to be involved in a project and get paid once a year or rewarded once a year. The Discord is horrible. I bring it up every video. Some things just need to change with it. Hey, why not cut the epochs in half? Why does it take 10 months to do rewards again? And then the worst rewards were called the airdrop. And then this is going to be an airdrop. Why is it just airdrops now? I don't know. I don't know what Grass is thinking, but hey, if they do another airdrop for me for $1,000 worth of tokens, I guess I'll just keep dealing with it. I don't know. I guess I got to figure out when this next airdrop comes, how many days has that been since the previous airdrop in October, and then average all that out. Yeah, it sounds great that you can get $1,000 or $500 or $400, but what does it average out to every day? I have several devices running Grass, several referrals out there running Grass. Anybody wants to referral, hey, please join Grass. There's a link in a code in the description below, and it gives you a bonus to start off. If you have an old computer that's sitting in the corner that you can run Grass on, I suggest it. Grass along with Honeygain and Pawns. And I have links in the description below also to get started on those. And those 3 devices are running on several old computers I have on several networks. And I've even got some rewards from Honeygain. It was over $100 at one point. So look into grass, Honeygain pawns, especially if you're using like BitHarvest. BitHarvest is still having some issues with grass, last I checked. But again, if you have an old computer, old something like that, you can run these 3 projects like I did. So moving on, read up number 12, DIMO. DIMO continues its free fall. And I'll have to say, some people's price has gone back up today in some projects. DIMO, not so much. But some of these other projects have had some decent, some ugly falls in the last week or month, where DIMO has kind of stayed steady at this point. Hopefully, maybe they found a bottom. They're down 90% in the last year. 90% in the last year. Hey, 90%. Some of y'all vehemently, religiously love this project, that sounds like a time for a good time to get into this project and stake some tokens if you feel that great about it. Y'all know that it is now, maybe I need to do a countdown calculator, but we're now on month 15 months since I bought my DIMO devices that I have still not ROI'd on. I bought 3 devices for $89 or $90 a piece. That's $270 plus shipping. And right now, total, I have $200 worth of DIMO in my wallet, and I have never touched it. So that tells you what kind of reward you're getting for DIMO. Again, I average, if you follow this before, I've averaged this out kind of in between what a newer person would get versus what somebody who's more established would get. But a new Macron makes about 15 cents a day. Established one makes about 22 cents a day. So when you average that out, not 22 cents, 0.15, 0.22. Yeah. It's 16, 17 cents a day. So basically at this point, just so you know, if you just take the middle of that, because after so many weeks of being online, as long as you don't miss a heartbeat, once a week, as long as you don't miss one, you move up in the levels. Mine's at level 4. If you want to stake it for like some kind of crazy 2 years or something like that, you can go up even more. I'm not doing that. But if you take the middle of that 18, 19 cents and you buy a new Macron, this is the Macron, for $99, it will take you 555 days to ROI on that. Now, that's at this price. We do have to say that the price could, maybe go up. Bull market comes, some of these other tokens start going up, maybe DIMO goes up. We haven't seen that. There's been a steady price decrease in the last year. A year ago, you were looking at a 39-cent DIMO. Hey, that would be wonderful. That'd be wonderful compared to what I'm making now. You had a price decrease, come down at 12, 13 cents, come back up to 24 cents, and right now it's down at 6 cents. That's for the year. I don't know what DIMO is going to do. I hope they can pull this out somehow. It's a very promising project. You have a lot of people behind it, and a lot of people in a lot of the Discord and groups that I'm in and X groups and stuff I'm in talk highly about this project. The price action just doesn't reflect it. I don't know if they don't have a lot of buying customers, if they're not burning, if they're not putting money back into it, liquidity, thinking that the market's going to prop it up. They are on Coinbase. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it, but DIMO needs some life support and some help fast. Then last but not least, y'all been waiting for it, and I stress the word last, is going to be Silencio. I'm also simultaneously right now working on a project going over in detail what the hell happened with the last raffle ticket, which was 2 or 3 days ago, raffle ticket catastrophe. Y'all know I discussed this in length during the previous months, which would have been the beginning of March, raffle ticket catastrophe. And listen, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. If you follow my videos, you know that I was very positive on Silencio, and I feel like I've been made an ass out of, and I hate to use that kind of language, but there's no other way of putting it. I was very pro Silencio, defending it. when they first went TGE and the price was low and everybody panicked. Everybody attacked this project. And I said, we haven't even had rewards yet. Calm down. It's just TGE, and, you know, wait to see. And then the raffle ticket thing, at one time they were talking about raffle tickets being worth 1 Silencio at the minimum per token. I mean, per raffle tickets or whatever. So I had 422,000 tokens, which ended up being 422,000 raffle tickets. If I would have got at least 1 Silencio per raffle ticket, you wouldn't hear me complaining. This would be probably the number 3 or 4 project on my list. But no, they want to do the whole raffle thing. Like, you know, there's a chance when you buy a raffle ticket, you don't win. You're right. You're right. But I know for a fact, I remember one time them saying you're getting 1 Silencio token per raffle ticket. They don't say that no more, maybe because they got more people. But then they also decided to do this thing, and I've complained about it before. I'm sorry y'all hear me repeat it, but this is all fresh because I just did this an hour ago. But you have where 422,000 tokens got me nothing. Nothing, basically nothing. It ended up being, you know, I want to say them end up being getting like 30, 40 cents a day. I don't know, something like that. But the reason it's not that high is because majority of my tickets came because I'm an OG and been in Silencio so long, and I'm staking my airdrop. And it's unfair if I'm gonna sit and tell y'all that this project's paying 30 and 40 cents a day. I run Silencio hard every day. I'm on a 400 and something day streak right now. Hot streak, whatever you want to call it. But for newer people who don't have all that staked, or new people who are coming to join this project, you're not going to make that. I got like 17,000 raffle tickets for what I actually did for the month. When you average, that's basically 25% of what my total raffle tickets were. So when you figure what 25% of what my rewards would have been, it averages out to 14 cents a day. And that's the only fair way I think I can say it, because if I sit and try to tell people that you can make 30 or 40 cents a day, like I did, or 50 cents a day, it was about 50 cents a day of what I got with my OG bonus, that's not fair for y'all. And I'm not going to be that kind of person. I'm not going to be accused of that. But hey, we tried the raffle ticket thing. It's not working. They're giving away 10 different boxes of, like, don't quote me, but I want to say it's like 11 million tokens worth $1,400 or $1,500, $1,500, when everybody else is getting $14. Listen, that's too off keel. That's too drastic of a change. Get rid of the whole 11 million token boxes. And I'm sure the people who are getting 11 million tokens ain't going to argue with that. But there's just a lot of questions about this, that, and not a lot of transparency on how these raffles are being done. And there's a lot of people questioning how certain people seem to have a lot of raffle tickets, but aren't getting the rewards at the end. And you have people who have a lot less raffle tickets seem to be getting a lot more rewards. You know, and sometimes it seems to be fanboys or fangirls in the Discord. And be honest with you, I didn't even get that detailed into it this time to look to see what people are making. My point is, if you would get rid of the 10 boxes for 11 million, that's 111 million Silencio that you can break up to give better rewards. And look, just give out 1 million rewards, 1 million tickets as rewards. Think about it. You can give out 1 million tickets and still have 100 million to balance out between people, and people would be getting $150 bonus, which is still way more than what we got. I just think this is completely lopsided, and something needs to be done if you want to keep Silencio going, because there's a lot of people complaining about it who think it's not worth it, especially new people coming in. There's new people coming in. You know, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Both my kids have started messing with Silencio, and when I see what they make a month after these raffle tickets, it's embarrassing. I wouldn't stick in it. I'm just being honest with you. I'm not trying to be petty. I'm not trying to be whiny baby. I'm just telling you, if I was brand new listening to this, I would not be touching Silencio right now. And you've seen people in the Discord, you're seeing people in CoinMarketCap comment that make those kind of comments. Is who the hell's benefiting from it other than those 10 people that are somehow winning those boxes? And I hadn't even seen the announcement on those 10 people like I did last time. They might not even open their box, their things yet, the raffle tickets yet. That would be something too, is if you have people who quit but are still getting raffle tickets, they're getting rewarded those 10 boxes. You know, let's just say 8 of the 10 of those people don't check the raffle tickets within 15 days, which I think is stupid also. And, you know, they miss out on their 11 million tokens. And then what happens to that? Does it go back in the prize pool for next week? I mean, for next month, I would hope so. But I don't know. Silencio, y'all need some help. If you had to ask me, Conrad or Grumpy, whatever you want to call me, what do you think needs more help? DIMO or Silencio? My brain would explode. Because I would have to take the 2 life, I'd have to take the 2 life support paddles and just split them between both of them. You know, DIMO, I have more faith in with the project itself. The rewards are horrible. I can't imagine paying for cell phone service for these new devices with these kind of rewards. Yes, those awards would be a little bit higher because that's a different kind of device, but not much higher. There's no way I'd be stuck with that. That'd be horrible. With Silencio, hey, it's a free project, so you didn't have anything to lose. With DIMO, you bought those devices. Silencio, you didn't. But, you know, I would think maybe, like if you tell me, Karen, you had to get right now you had to get one project, DIMO, Silencio, I would say it's Silencio. I would say that because with DIMO, you have to buy the device. Silencio, you don't. Moving on, Wingbits. All I can say is everybody's getting devices in. You have devices rolling in. You don't see that many people saying, I don't know what's going on with my tracking. I bought it back 6 years ago and I haven't got my device yet. You're not seeing as many of those. I don't know what's going back with the chargebacks for the store that went under and stole everybody's money. Hopefully that dude gets arrested. I don't care if he has health issues or not. That's just wrong. It is what it is. I said it. I will say that there's a lot of people who are asking for help with the devices, and several of us, even though I don't have it in my hand, have been trying to lend as much help as possible. People are in a rush to go change out that antenna because it's a 3 dB antenna, and I'm telling people don't change it out until you see what it does. You know, when we've used higher gain antennas like 9s and 12s, we got poorer results, worse results than we did with the 5.5. We've had some people who have said they've had some pretty good results with that 3 point, whatever it is, dBi antenna. And I say you go install it up. If you're getting 300 miles, 300 plus miles, and some, you know, decent amount of aircrafts, there's no reason to change it. Because when you go to a 5.5, now you have to buy an adapter, possibly some feed line, which is now you're going to introduce loss. I see some people who are adamant on putting the little dish of the Wingbits station inside and running feed line outside. The dang thing is made to be outside. You start to run 10 foot of feed line, you're creating loss. I don't care how thick it is. Some loss is worse than others, but let's be honest. How many of y'all are running LMR 400 or 600 to these devices? Y'all don't want to spend any more money after what y'all just spent on a Wingbits device. So I'm watching people on here talking about they're running RG58, God bless you, or RG6 or something crazy. And then you got to use an adapter because I think it's TNC on the top. And the antenna is going to be an end connector. So that right there is more loss. Every connector's loss. Feed line's loss. So yeah, you're going to exchange it out for 5.5. But how much are you improving when you're adding so much loss to it? You don't know. Don't know. Now, for a $45 5.5 antenna and you really want to max that baby out, swap it out. You see what happens. You let it run for a week. But that's what I do when I do some testing. Let it run for a week. But don't be in a rush to start swapping all this stuff out. They've did some testing. We've seen the results. Or at least Axie and them have, because Axie had it and compared it side by side. And he said the new Wingbit station was getting better results. He had 3.3 or 3 dBi on it. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm getting a station soon, and, I'll be able to put my hands on one and do some testing for y'all also. But there'll be some more updates. Y'all know there's going to be more update videos on Wingbits as it comes out. 375AI, there's nothing really new on that. We're still running that project on my phone as I drive around, and it's cool. It can run in the background. If you're interested in 375AI, there's a code in the description below. Check it out and get early in this project, and maybe it'll lead to some great bonus airdrops, we hope. Bit Harvest, I don't know what's going on with Bit Harvest. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Listen, I support them guys. Them guys are doing kind of a grassroots type thing where they're on their own time. They've made this third-party software. They've helped me out a lot. I've helped them out a lot. Tested products for them. I don't know what's going on. I know the guy who runs most of it is had some personal emergencies they had to deal with, and right now grass isn't working, and it's been like that now for 2 to 3 weeks. Whether or not they can't figure it out because of something going on with something, I don't know. I know that without trying to slander nobody or anything, but I know the other third-party software that's out there is not having this type of issue. So I don't know what the difference is. Don't know. So it should be able to work with this kind of package. Maybe just need some time to dig into it. So hopefully Bit Harvest can get their stuff back on, back straight, back online, and running like it was before. Because when I'm looking at buying these sense caps, I'm telling y'all, I have 7 of these devices online right now. If I'm talking to this guy who I told y'all earlier with Helium. If y'all watch that section, I just bought a Helium device sense cap from a guy for $30, fixed it myself and got it running. First thing I did is throw Bit Harvest on it, because it also wanted to put DIY Wingbits on it, because right now I have stations out there that are just a sense cap, or just a rock pie, which is the worst piece of crud that ever came out, running a Wingbits solo. So if I can go buy for $25 or $30 a Helium device, get it back working. So if I can swap that rock pie out with a sense cap, run Bit Harvest on it, I can dual mine Helium, Wingbits DIY on top of Curecoin, Honeygain, Pawns app, Earn app, ERWIN, whatever. It's a win-win for me. So I'm really hoping Bit Harvest can get all this stuff figured out, whatever the headaches are, whatever's going on, get back on track, do an update, and let's go, man. So that's it for this video. No idea how long it's going to end up being. It's been recording stuff for 3 hours, but I know it ain't gonna be 3 hours long. So, hey, we'll watch these charts, see how it goes in between playing some Call of Duty and stuff like that. Don't forget, I still have my side business also that's still struggling, or moving along. cbsynthetics.com, which is, I had to make sure somebody wanted to know what the CB stood for or something like that. It's for my initials, it ain't for anything else. Some people thought it was something else. I don't know. But you can, any kind of synthetic fluids, grease, racing performance type synthetic stuff for your vehicles, motor oil. That's what I use it for. Diesel trucks, boats, motorcycles, huge with the motorcycle stuff. Check it out. Don't forget, I own all the tokens that we talked about today, so that nobody can get upset when I go and sell some for some reason. I'll keep you all up to date with what's going on. Make sure you follow my Twitter X. One day I'll point in the right direction. And make sure to do me a favor and like this video. Catch me on Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time for our live, and we'll discuss that also, see what's going on, what's new since then. See if any new tariffs came out I have a very, y'all know I had that sportsman hunting show that I worked for overtime last weekend. I have a lot of overtime coming, a lot of extra cash. I'm hoping that, hey, I hope he throws a couple more tariffs out there and drops some of these tokens. I did that video yesterday on some possible 5, 10, 15, 20x tokens right now that look pretty good. And I can tell you right now, those 4 or 5 tokens I spoke about yesterday, that's where my money's going. I'm not going to lie to y'all. So we'll see how it is. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the subscribers. Hopefully hitting 30,000 subscribers soon. Maybe by Thursday in the live. We'll see. I'm going to do a video also on some Wingbits stuff. Also, I didn't mention that earlier. Some testing I'm doing with the AirSpy Mini, and it's kind of interesting, to be honest with you. It's not as open and shut case as I originally thought it was. So we'll see. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video.